fertilizer on the back of the bag, that NPK. You'll see the analysis on a few of them. And say if you take this particular one right here, it's 1.7 ammonical nitrogen, which is a very fast acting. It'll green it up really quick. There's 34% urea nitrogen, which is a synthetic organic, they call them. But what it is out of that urea nitrogen, that about 20% of it is sulfur coated. And what it is they spray on the sulfur, they'll spray on a polymer, they'll have osmosis, osmocote. There's different types of materials that they spray on. And what that does is when you use a sulfur coat, a lot of it's controlled by water and temperature in a way with the sulfur coat. And what happens is the chemical or fertilizer will be on the ground, and as it rains, it's slowly going to wear off, and they'll put it on different thicknesses. So it wears off at different time frames, so it's slowly releasing the fertilizer into the ground. The same thing with the polymers. The osmocote is a little bit different where it absorbs the water, and if you ever see if you buy osmocote fertilizer for their house plants, it almost looks like these little round BBs, and you squeeze them and they pop, and that's because they're water filled. And every once in a while they'll break, and that's what releases the fertilizer. So that is kind of the theory behind the different types of coatings on it. At one time it used to be where you just put on the ammonical nitrogen, and that was it. It was just either the plant took it or it went down into the ground after. And that's where you get the burn factor also. When you use a little bit too much nitrogen in your soil, you'll find that, well, I burnt my lawn. Well, didn't really burn it in the sense of that it burnt it. What happens is you put down too much nitrogen, the salt content in some of the fertilizers, if it's a very high salt content on the fast reactant, what it does is instead of the water pulling up, the salts, because the salts are so built up in the soil that it actually pulls the water out of the plant, and that's why the plant dies. It actually draws it out. So it's like putting salt in a wound or something. If you have poison ivy and you're drawing the liquid out, the same thing with that. It's the complete opposite when the salt content is too high.